Hi there. I just figured I would go live and share a little bit about my own personal journey, just being vulnerable here, and I'm going to try my best to make it as quick as possible, and then I am anticipating to record this, or I'm sorry, save it as a recording. Anyhow, I have a lot of, you know, newer friends, and I just wanted to I guess share for those of you who don't know, like, my journey and my background and how all of a sudden I'm just this fit person. It hasn't always been that way, and so I feel that it's necessary to share my struggles and my journey with you, and kind of how it began and what has been the catalyst that God has used to really change my life. So I will go right into it. So I was introduced to clean eating and just kind of chemicals and all of that fun stuff at the end of 2012. And my husband and I, we decided to make, some changes as far as how we eat and whatnot. And I just found that it was just really, really hard to keep up with it. I was doing it, but I would say that, like, my eating habits were, 50-50. I indulged when I wanted to, and I ate well when I wanted to. I have been able to, I dropped quite a bit of weight pretty promptly, but I would manage to put it back on because you kind of just do the yo-yo thing when you're kind of doing a diet. I was trying my very, very best to make it a lifestyle change, but, we tend to go back to our old habits. So anyhow, January 28th of 2014, I miscarried our fourth, or it would be our third child, and it was a really, really hard thing. I hemorrhaged and I almost died, and it was just really, really traumatic for myself and for my family. I was on bed rest, and shortly after, one of my nieces, she had a fatal birth defect, and she died. She was born and she lived, and she died 3 days later, and it was a very, very trying season. So I miscarried January 28th, and this happened, she was born March 28th, and she died March 31st. So we had two very, very heavy times of grief between myself and my cousin, who I'm very, very close with. It was a very, very trying time. Needless to say, I spent 2014 in a lot of tears and a lot of grief. And while I know that's healthy and it's good to do that, I do feel that God grew me in that area and had helped me to gain a better understanding and compassion for others who have experienced loss. One of the things that I put off was working out. When I miscarried, before I actually miscarried, I was doing a workout program from Beachbody. It's called T25 Focus. And because I miscarried, because I was doing T25, I felt, even though a miscarriage is not, it's out of my control as far as why that baby does not end up living in my womb and coming into this world, I still felt behind, in the back of my mind, that I had something to do with it. So T25 went back on the shelf, and it stayed there. And I was active. I'd go hiking, do fitness clubs or whatnot with friends, or I was always up for some type of activities with my boys and in my life. But I'd say that working out was like 3 to 4 days a week. My eating habits were it was still about 50-50. I gave in when I wanted to, and I ate well when I wanted to. And overall, I just, there was just this, I kept going back to just grief. And so anyhow, I was approaching, towards the end of the year, and I was approaching the new year. And not that I was wanting to have a New Year's resolution, but I definitely was reflective of the year 2014 and realized that there were some really hard things that I dealt with, but I also was not fueling myself the right way. The biggest thing I needed to do was face my giant. And for me, my giant was starting and finishing T25. It was just kind of when I thought of it, I thought of the miscarriage, and it was just really hard for me. So I said, okay, you know what? I don't want to, approach January 28th, 2015, my 1-year anniversary of the miscarriage. I don't want to approach it. I don't want to have another year like what I just had. So I wanted to be ahead of it. So January 1st, just because of the timing, I pressed play. And T25, it has 3 phases. It's alpha, beta, and gamma. And the first 2 are 5 weeks, and then the third one is 4 weeks. And there was like an in-between, maybe, a week off here or there. But for the most part, I was very consistent. So I'd say, give or take in, 5 plus 5 plus 4, in about, let's just say 16 weeks, I completed T25. And I shared it. On my social media page. And I had friends who were Beachbody coaches approach me and say, hey, you would do well because it's just about sharing your journey. And so I kind of, did a lot of praying, and, my husband and I discussed it, and I watched the invitation videos that were offered. Beachbody is a company, and then there are individual teams. And so this team that I chose to watch, the one that stood out for me was the one I ultimately ended up signing up with, and it has changed my life. So I watched the invite video, I prayed, and I said, you know what, I am going to give it a try. My biggest hesitancy was the Shakeology, the use of Shakeology, because I felt I could just make a superfood smoothie, add some protein to it, and that was that. I was never told that I had to do anything I didn't want to. It was always just, if you would like to, use the product and share about it, it's going to be helpful for you. But at very minimum, try it. And if you don't like it, you get your money back. Beachbody offers that satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back for all of their products, and it was just amazing. So I signed up as a coach. I purchased a program by the name of PIO, and I had Shakeology sent to me. I tried it with the intentions of not continuing it past, what was offered. It's 30 servings in a bag. And we were also pregnant at this time. I was 5 weeks pregnant when I decided to become a health and fitness coach, pregnant with our baby number 4. So I was so sick, like it hit me like at 6 weeks, and I became a coach about 5. Shakeology came in just about at that time, and I gave it a whirl. I was working about 30 hours a week, kind of carrying all of my jobs where I could take my kids with me, caring for others. It was an opportunity for me to serve others, but also have an income, and where I could still stay home with my kids. We were in a season where I did need to work outside of the home. So it was about 30 hours a week, and I was just so sick. I had nausea all day long. It's not morning sickness for me. It was all day sickness. It has been for every single pregnancy. Come here, Papas. And so Shakeology helped give me a window of relief. It wasn't like my nausea went away. Man, it wasn't like my nausea went away, but it just gave me like this burst of energy, and kind of just lessened it in a sense. Say hi. Say hi. So I was like, whoa. Even one of the ladies that I was taking care of, if I didn't use the Shakeology, before I went to take care of her, she would just see this this sense of just dread. It was just really, really hard. So anyhow, she would say, can you please make sure you drink your Shakeology before you come? So I was like, okay. So I was a believer. It's not anything I can describe to you without you having tried it and experienced it for yourself, but it was just awesome. Anyhow, I was sick until completion of 18 weeks, so I was sick all day until I hit 19 weeks. And he's excited to see himself. When I was about 20 weeks, you do that sugar testing. we found out I had gestational diabetes, and I was very adamant with my healthcare provider that I did not want to use metformin. I didn't want to do sugar-free foods with the aspartame chemical in it. I tried it with my other son, and I just remember feeling really, really sick with it. I just didn't have peace with doing anything other than natural sugars, and I didn't want to do any meds. And so she was okay with that as long as I reported good blood sugars every time we visited, which was monthly. She let me treat my gestational diabetes. Hey, you're not letting me talk. You're not letting me talk. You saying hi? Yeah, say hi. So anyhow, I was able to keep my blood sugars under control with natural foods, natural whole foods, and natural sugars. And every time I had my Shakeology, my blood sugars were completely balanced. It was awesome. So here we come to my due date. Historically, when you have gestational diabetes, they want to induce you at about 39 weeks. So because the concern is that your baby is going to be too big, and then you won't be able to deliver naturally. And naturally was definitely a desire of mine. So she let me go to 40 weeks, and then when we hit 40 weeks, you know, she expressed her concerns with going any further, and my husband and I prayed and decided that it was time for me to go ahead and try being induced. My biggest fear was I didn't want to have the Pitocin be so painful that I couldn't attempt to deliver him naturally. So when my body hit where it was like an active labor on its own and the contractions seemed to be coming on their own, she turned the Pitocin off, and I was able to deliver my son completely naturally with no meds. It was crazy. It was an experience. I've had 2 children, and I'm not by any means downplaying or however you choose to deliver your children is totally your choice. My own personal conviction was that I wanted to deliver my baby naturally. And I've had 2 where I've had the epidural, and I have this one where I didn't. And the recovery was night and day, and I'm so glad I was able to experience that. And I look forward to any future children delivering that same way. So, you know, I deliver Jude. You know, I have the postpartum experience. You know, postpartum depression was something that I experienced with all of my children, and it was something I wanted to stay ahead of, and I still am working on that every single day. I did take some steps to really help guard my heart and my mind. But I will say that, you know, I was able to, you know, start working out at 5 weeks, just postpartum. And the first program I did was PIO, and then I did 21-day fix, and I start and complete each program. I've been able to start and complete T25 as well as 22-minute hardcore. And then I'm now on Body Beast. Most of the programs, you know, they range between 12 and 30 days to like 16 weeks. This one is a longer one. I feel like I'm halfway there. Anyways, I'm on Body Beast now. One of the things that has really, really helped me to stay afloat, because I've been asked so often, like, how do you do everything that you do and, you know, stay on top of things? And I will say that coaching has done it for me. I've been a part of a monthly accountability group every single month since I've been a coach, and it's changed my life. I am partnering with other ladies. I am partnering with other ladies who desire the same thing, have goals, and it's not about losing weight. I mean, that's definitely an added benefit, and it happens, but it's about, I'm sorry guys, it's about supporting each other and, you know, carrying each other's weight together as a team. And, you know, if you're having a rough day, and, you know, life happens, there's real stuff that we share in there, and it's private and it's personal, and it's been great. And you know, that has been something that has been encouraged. Beachbody gives us tools to be able to have an app that we get to use and get other ladies together, and it's just been really great. The other part is you know, the team that I have become, that I am a part of. The motivation always in the team is, you know, spend time with God first. Spend time on working on your marriage, work on your children, you know, parenting. It is always encouraged to make sure that I'm spending time doing those things first before I even think to spend time working on the business. And I've been in the professional work field, and I cannot recall a time ever being told, work on your family first. I mean, they say family first, but when it comes down to it, you know, business is going to go about on its own, and, you know, with or without you. And I understand the business side of things, don't get me wrong, but this, you know, I have been faced with some trials that we're going through here in our home. And when I shared with, like, the people that I not report to, but like my upper mentors, they said, take your time. You know, we're here for you. We're praying with you. And while Beachbody is by no means a faith-based company, the team that I have joined, and they are now my family. They are faith-based, and so that's what we are encouraged with, is Scripture. And for me personally, it's what works for me. I'm not saying that you have to join a team that is faith-based, but it definitely does make a world of difference. And so, yes, I've had amazing results. I have lost 40 pounds quick, super quick. It just shed off. I bounced back. I can't say that I bounced back by doing nothing. I've worked very hard for, you know, where I am at, but I never had the end goal of, I need to have this certain body, or I need to be this certain weight, or I need to have this BMI, or, you know, my abs need to look like this. I haven't even focused on my abs. That has not been a priority for me. It has just been, you know, what good food and exercise helps me to feel like, and it's helped me to be a better person, you know, for my family, for those around me. And, you know, do I fail? Of course I fail, but, you know, I just wanted to share. And I know it's taken quite some time, and if you're just joining, you know, I hope you go back and rewatch the whole thing. And, you know, if I hadn't taken this leap of faith, I'm sure God would have directed me otherwise. But the faith that I took to try this out, I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams that this would have been the result of it. And I do wholeheartedly feel that I am a much better lover of Christ. I'm a much better wife to my husband, a mother to my children, a friend, a family member, because of my decision to make better health and fitness choices. And the way that I am making better health and fitness choices is because I am in a monthly accountability group, and because I'm part of a team that helps keep me accountable. And I want that same thing for you. And so that's why I wanted to be vulnerable, and I wanted to share, and I thank you so much for taking the time. And I pray that if there's any way that I can help you, please let me know. And at very minimum, you know, thanks for watching, and have a great evening.